Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Aurora and here I am on Monday to give you guys the weekly energy update. This is for the week of June 14th, 2021 to June 20th, 2021. So that's the week that we're in today, and I'm really excited because I've actually been like creating content and doing other things and videos, whereas like this was my first kind of like, hey guys, talking to my computer and doing it like this, but I've kind of been doing that more for other content, so it's just funny to be here in this position now, doing my old talk, you know, so it's kind of fun. Okay, so if you're new here, welcome, like and subscribe, comment below. I'd really like for you to interact. I really am passionate about creating a community of like-minded people that are going to help each other raise and elevate their consciousness so that we can really live in a world that's thriving and not just surviving anymore. So we are going into that direction anyways with this awakening that humanity is going through. So basically I am a way shower and a light worker and a healer here to help other people on their journey and guide them. So I'm really just stepping into my power and into my purpose and into my mission, and so it's been quite the journey. So if you want to get involved in my group, I am going to start going live in there more often. I'm just doing some behind the scenes work right now, so I'm not as active, but I am going to start being more active and just pulling cards and doing Q&As and different things like that. So I will link it below. It's called Discover the True You. And yeah, so just click the link down below. I have a few security questions to get in just so that I don't get like bombarded with people that don't really want to participate and really be a part of it. Yeah, just so that I can create that boundary for us to have a safe space and to create that safe space. So yeah, come on in, join from the link down below. And yeah, let's just get into this energy update. So I don't really have too many notes this week, but I'm sure I still have a lot to say. But I am going to be really going intuitive this week and diving into just pulling cards and stuff like that. So one of the main energies right now this week that is really going to be affecting us is we're having a mental energy reconfiguration. Okay, so basically, like, we're getting shaken up mentally. And this is just to basically leave our past behind for good. It's so that we aren't carrying forth all of the stuff that we've been purging, right? It's like last week it was the emotional purge. So last week we had the solar eclipse energy as well, right? So we went through that portal and now we're on the closing side of that. That was very heart-based. That was very emotional-based. Like, I know for me, I was feeling very irritable and very, like, frustrated, and just, like, my irritability was making me irritable. Like, it was just like, okay, what the fuck? Like, I can't do this human thing anymore. I'm over my mission. I don't want to do this. Like, my emotions were just everywhere. Like, I was feeling apathetic. I wasn't feeling connected to myself or my purpose or my place here. And I was like, oh my God. And now this week, it's like, I feel like it's the mental side of it, you know, like the side of it where it's like, okay, good, we made it through those emotions, and now we're going into our mind, into the way that our thoughts control our reality and our perception of our reality, right? So it's like, okay, I'm clearing, I'm transmuting, and it's like in tandem with the energies that are coming in right now too, right? So always keep that in mind, because the reason that these videos are really powerful for you to go like to watch them as the energies are here is so that you can utilize this energy. So like, say you're like really going through a rough time this week and your mental health is struggling and you don't know what to do and you just feel like you're at a roadblock, then this video will help you, because this is literally what I'm telling you the energetics are, right? So if you're like, oh, okay, perfect, okay, maybe I'm not so crazy, maybe I'm not fucked up, maybe I'm not losing my mind, maybe this is just like where we're at in our cycle right now and everything actually is okay, right? So it's just really about like reframing this week, and so like it'll be our previous work that we've done on the subconscious level, but it's going to be this moment to moment that we're bringing in our conscious, because it's like things have slipped through that we didn't want to deal with, and now it's basically like, okay, here, you ready? Are you ready? Because I'll show up again and you'll answer that, whether you're ready or not to deal with it, whether you're going to, like, you're either going to deal with it or you're not going to deal with it, right? So this is really the energy that's being invited into your life at this time, is like really deep reconfiguration of your thoughts, of your thought patterns, of your thought structures, of the way that you perceive yourself, of the way that you speak to other people, of the way that you speak to yourself, like all things to do with our mental clarity and energy, right? So it's like our mind can make us sick and our mind can make us healthy. So it's all about what it is that you're thinking, right? Because even in our cellular level, like our cells respond to our thoughts, right? Like if we're having, say we're having negative thoughts and our body is interpreting it as we're in danger in that moment, we're in danger, but you're just sitting on your couch, like scrolling through Facebook or something, and your little heart's going and you're having like a moment, and your body doesn't know that you're just sitting there, right? Like you're having this whole experience and like you're kind of have an idea of what's going on, but the body doesn't, and the body just perceives it as stress, right? So it's like, okay, so how are you subconsciously creating stress on your body, and how are you subconsciously creating stress on your life? Right? So it's like, okay, if you're sitting there scrolling and you're having this like anxiety attack, then what is it that you're not taking care of? Why are you not exactly where you need to be, right? So it's like, well, what are you supposed to be doing instead of sitting there doing that, right? Have you taken care of what you need to take care of? And that could be a cause of your anxiety too, right? Like you're just not taking responsibility, right? So, you know, it's just really this process of getting to know yourself and your mind and your thoughts this week, and really like empowering. Like it's a really empowering energy, because we're being supported. So it's like surrendering to life. Like that was a really, really big one, is just like surrendering to this experience of life. The pain and the pleasure, the joy, the sorrow, all of it, all different angles. And I think that's a lot of the time is when we feel stagnated or we feel stuck or we don't know what to do, it's because we're resistant to what we're experiencing. We're resistant. We don't want to accept that this is where we are. We don't want to accept that this is who we are. We don't want to accept that things change all the time. We want to hold on to what is or what was, and that's just not serving us. So there's gonna be like a lot of conversations this week. Really get in touch with your close friends this week and start connecting about these things, right? Like start saying, hey, you know, like this is really what I've been noticing, and do you notice this? And really just start connecting on this deeper level, because I'm also hearing right now like that you're wanting deeper connections and deeper relationships and really meaningful relationships. And so in order for you to experience those and have those, then you have to be open and vulnerable as well with other people, right? And of course you use your discernment. Not everybody is willing to go to that space with you, and that's totally okay too, right? Like it's nothing personal. I mean, doing this inner work isn't an easy journey, so you have to give people the space, and when they're ready, and that's just how it is, right? So really just surrendering to what is, surrendering to the flow, surrendering to the fact that you're always where you need to be, right? That's such a big belief that we have to get into our minds and into our bodies, because then it's like you can relax into this moment. You can be like, oh, Ray, I'm right here, right now, fully present, because I don't have anywhere else I need to be, right? And say you do, it's about trusting that you're going to get there, trusting yourself. Okay, I know that I need to be somewhere. I know that I have to do this. Then I trust myself to show up and do what I need to do, right? And say you have this pattern of not showing up, then that's what you're working on, right? You're like, okay, I really want to be dedicated and showing up and changing these patterns, right? So this is the kind of stuff that's coming up this week, guys. My next is I have clearing your cycles up, which I talked about, right? So like clearing up your cycles, clearing up your patterns, and this is like clearing up our divine template. So when we incarnated into this world, like we were pure love, pure light, pure energy. Yeah, we have our soul, some scars, our soul pains that we brought in, but we were just this pure source light energy. And when we started growing and experiencing life, we weren't really told exactly how it works. It's more like a trial and error situation, right? And of course, like, our parents aren't perfect, our situations aren't perfect. So all these templates downloaded into us when we were younger, right? And we've replayed these same cycles over and over and over and over. And this energy that we're in is purifying lifetime purification, right? Because we're awakening as a species. So in order for a species to awaken and heal and come into wholeness and not be attached to their trauma anymore, is just through healing that trauma, through healing those experiences. And what happens when we heal those experiences is that we basically dissolve the experiences and we alchemize it into wisdom. So it's like, okay, I have the wisdom from that experience. I can look at it objectively. I can see it for what it is. I can see how it affected me. I can see how it served me. And this is that higher self perspective where you can really bring compassion and understanding and leave judgment at the door. And so you're able to process and transmute these different things, right? So all the cycles from lifetime to generational, like, if you've been doing this work, it may not feel like it's working, because believe me, I was in that energy. Like, I was literally like, I'm done. I don't even care anymore. Like, I was just going on about how I just don't care and this and that and whatever. And I just needed to express myself. That's really all it was. Like, of course I care. Of course this is my life mission. Of course this is what I'm here to do. But sometimes I get frustrated too, and I don't know what to do. And so then I have to go through my whole process of understanding of, like, okay, Aurora, what do you need to do next that's going to make you feel good? What are you going to do next that is going to fill your cup? How can you start creating a sustainable business and really focusing on being of service and helping people and raising their vibration and all these juicy things that I want to do that I feel like I'm not doing, which I am, and I need to realize, right? And so it's just like, okay, like, just breathe, like, anchor that in, trust myself. I trust myself that I know what I'm doing. I trust myself that when I show up, the path appears. When I take my step, the path appears, right? Like, that was a really cool one that I read the other day. It was like, when you walk along your path, just take the steps and then your reality appears, which, if you guys know anything about, like, quantum physics and our quantum reality, that's literally our reality. Like, seriously. So it's just really cool to hear that. I was like, oh, wow, isn't that interesting? Because when you observe something, it appears. But when you're not observing something, it's actually in its waveform, which means that it's in its infinite possibility. So if no consciousness is observing it, then it doesn't actually exist until consciousness observes it. So anyway, pretty trippy, I know, but we are in the mental body today, right? In this week. So it's really like, oh wow, like, really deep downloads, really like profound understandings, really like asking the questions and getting some solid answers and just being like, holy fuck, I had no idea. I had no idea all this was out here, and you're just finding new things and you're on your journey. And so this is like, I feel like now's the time to really put in the creativity too, right? And so it's creative thoughts, it's creative problem solving. It's not necessarily like being a painter or a singer or an artist or whatever it is. It's really just about being creative in all situations. Because when you can master, like, bringing creativity into any situation, then that's where you're able to tap into flow, because you're open to the infinite possibilities and you're not locked into one expectation, right? So it's really just about, I had a brain fart because I looked down and I read masculine and feminine templates, and I was like, how does this have anything to do with that? Sometimes I lose myself, but that's all part of it, right? Because when I'm like channeling this information, I'm not thinking, I'm just allowing and I'm flowing, right? And I'm trusting. So anyway, I guess I don't remember. Maybe I do. Hold up. No, it's gone. Yeah, I'm just going to get to this masculine and feminine templates because that was really what I was trying to get to. Anyways, right? So we have been programmed, is my point. We have been programmed, and so we are being invited to start reprogramming and accessing these divine templates of the masculine and feminine, these higher self, these source versions of the masculine and feminine. And what that really means at the core, it just means source energy, meaning pure, just pure energy. So what is the purest version of the masculine, and how does that show up? What is the purest version of the feminine, and how does that show up? Right? So this is really what we're starting to unpack and understand, right? Like a wounded version of the feminine would be like jealousy and envy and drama and accusations and mistrust. And then like the unhealed of the masculine could be, like, now I'm going the opposite way, because when I think of the masculine, I think of the positive, right? So it's like the protector. He gives you safety. He is your foundation. He is your support. He is the action side of it, right? So I couldn't think of the opposites of those, but that's the opposites of those would be the wounded, right? And so it's like we're being invited into anchoring in these higher versions of ourselves, these purified versions, right? And so in order for us to do that, we have to purge and acknowledge and accept and understand our patterns and our cycles and our mental body. So that's really this week, that's really what we're tapping into. And so we're being asked to like sit in solitude and reflection so that we can clean up the lies that our ego has told us to either keep us comfortable, safe, or protected, right? So we're really being guided like to sit in solitude, to reflect, and to clean up what it is that you've been telling yourself that is just isn't true, And so that could be some of your insecurities, but could also be some of the ways that you're showing up. Say you're having financial problems and you don't want to look at your finances. How are you going to get out of your financial situation if you're not going to give it any attention? Like, this is why you're in the situation, right? So it's like, okay, let me just take a deep breath. Let me think, okay, how can I get through this? What can I do? Let me get creative. Let me tap in. How can I figure out how to get over this little hump that I'm in into this next chapter? Because it's what you choose to do in this now moment as to what you're going to manifest and what you're going to attract into your life, right? So we're really being asked to not make any hasty decisions, to remain where you are. Like if you want to go travel or to go move or to go do something like this week, you're really just being asked to slow down, because you're going to receive the guidance that you need in that stillness as to what your next move is, right? So if you don't know what to do next, then it's your responsibility to sit still and to listen. And you'll always receive the answer. Your higher self is always guiding you. And so that's the practice of quieting the mind so that you can trust the heart, so that you can hear the guidance of the higher self and of source, right? So yeah, we're really just being asked to just acknowledge it, just acknowledge. And also like these lies, they were planted, they were like implanted into us, like I already said, through different experiences, right? So either through past lifetimes or through societal programming or through your parents, like generational trauma and different things, right? So it's like these were planted into you, but it's your job and the universe's job to remove these out of us, right? And like we're being supported right now from that. And we had the 2 eclipses, right? So we had that solar eclipse last week, and 2 weeks ago we had that lunar eclipse, right? So those were portals. Those were massive portals of purging and cleansing. So right now, like as those energies are kind of dissipating and we're through that portal now we're coming into summer solstice, which is next week, right? So we have this calm energy again. We have this sit still energy before the solstice energy, right? And the solstice represents the longest day of the year, right? So that's when we get the most sun, at least up in the northern hemisphere, right? So it's like that's when we get the most sun. And so it's like showing us like what is being illuminated, right? And so I'm not going to go too far into that in this video, because that'll actually be next week's video. But just have an awareness this week that we're coming into this energy next week of this illumination, because it's our longest day, right? It's our longest day of the year. So it's illuminating, and it's the light is staying longer, right? So it's like, what does that represent? That represents our shadow being shown to us, but I'm also hearing in a different perspective because it's this very mental energy this week. Very, very mental energy. So it's like, if you don't think you can do something, you're right. If you think you can do something, you're right. Right? Like, that's the energy. It's just like, which energy do you want to be in, right? And also, it's really important to, like, give yourself the space to feel your darker, denser emotions, right? A lot of the time we'll end up in, like, having a fucking fit because we just didn't deal with them. We just chose not to and suppressed them and told ourselves maybe, right? See, that could be it too. That could be the lie that your ego tells you when you suppress your emotions, but you're telling yourself you're not. So then you think you're doing work, you think you're doing what you need to do to make yourself feel better, but the truth of it is that you're not doing the work and you're still living the same patterns. It's just you're thinking that you're doing it, right? Like, the ego is very, very tricky, and like, there's nothing wrong with you for that. Like, that's totally normal, really, because it's like, well, we want to feel good, we want to feel seen, we want to feel heard, and the ego, you're seeing it, you're hearing it, like, so you're just not in alignment with the truth of yourself, right? So it's like you're actually causing more detriment because you're not being honest, right? Because you're like perpetuating these same lower choice points, right? So just really be aware of that and really be aware of kind of maybe where you give yourself a little more credit, where maybe you need to put a bit more work in. Because for me personally, like, I see that a lot as well. Like, when I'm creating things and I'm getting into it and like I have so much fun like in my head and getting all these ideas going, and then I like to share it with everyone, and then I like to not do it. I like to have fun with the idea and like get all whoa, and then it's like actually anchoring it in, I'll get distracted, I'll find something else to do. So that's why I'm really dedicated to really showing up for these videos, because I really, really, really love it when people can rely on me and I can commit to things and I can be mature and I can be responsible. Like, I really like that. So that's something for me that I'm nurturing so that I can show up more like that in my world. And only saying yes when I want to say yes. Because I was like, oh my God, you know what everyone's problem is? They say yes when they want to say no. And then they do all these things that they don't want to do. Well, no more, right? And that's this reconfiguration of your masculine and feminine templates too, right? Because when you know, you know. And you can tap into that and you can trust that, right? And so it's like, do I want to do this? Sorry, not today, I'm busy, or I'm tired, or, maybe you just don't even want to. So you don't always have to say that to them, but, you don't have to do everything that you would usually do just because, or out of obligation or anything like that, because it's just not going to serve you moving forward, right? Okay, beautiful. So that's all the goodies there. So I am going to start pulling some cards here and just seeing what comes through for the week. The first deck I got is the Beyond Lumeria. I have 4 decks, possibly 5. I might want to play with that one. So, okay, let's see. So the Lumerian energy, okay, so like Lumeria is like an ancient time back, and it kind of is like the Atlantean times as well, right? So this is like back when humans were balanced. They had their masculine and feminine balanced, and they had their spiritual and their physical world balanced, and they were able to live a harmonious life, right? And it's kind of like us modern day humans is kind of like where we're going. And if they're actually called, I think it's called the ancient knowledge of the future. I don't know, one of the cards says that Lumeria is the ancient knowledge of the future, which is true because, like the farther from source you get, the closer to source you get, right? Because it's just a toroidal field. So say this is the center point where source is, and the farther from source you get, because it's looping back around, the closer to source you get, right? So it's just the paradox that we live in and the reality that we live in, right? And so, there was a time when we did, humans, they were balanced balanced and attuned, and that was like back in the light ages, and now we had to go through the cycle of the dark ages. We're coming out of the Piscean age, right, which is where Jesus was the usher in for that, right? So he was the face for it of the Piscean age, and now we're going into the Aquarian age, right? And we'll have to see who the face for that will be, right? But yeah, so we're now heading into the Aquarian age, and so this is a complete different energy, right? It's like we went from the Piscean age, which is like the martyr, the victim. The main lesson here is forgiveness, self-forgiveness, right? And it's about the healer and the wounded healer and the shadow self and all, like human conditioning and human programming. And now we're going into Aquarian, which is like this, like, newer, like technologically advanced age. They're innovative. It's like very futuristic, very technological, and they like to use their mind. They're very intellectual, right? So we're now entering into this very like forward moving energy, and I think that they're no, I'm not sure about that. I don't want to tell you. Yeah, so the Aquarian energy is what we're kind of connecting to. And if you want to learn more about like Aquarian energy, just Google it and look into it, right? And then you can kind of see, right? Look into Piscean energy and then Aquarian energy and kind of compare the two. And it should give you a pretty good understanding of kind of like where humans have been and where we're going, right? So it's really, really cool, really, really beautiful to perceive it all like that, because there's all these different layers and cycles, within the layers and cycles, right? So yeah, I just wanted to give you that little bit about Lumeria and Atlantis. I know I'm not like the best at explaining it, but my soul understands it, so my human's still figuring it out. Okay, so let's see. I'm just calling in all beings of 100% pure love and light, your higher self, my higher self, to work through me to give us the perfect cards for this week. What is going on this week for the ones that are going to watch this video? Now, mind you, this is also a timeless reading, which means that if you find this reading and it is not this date, then that's totally okay, and that it is exactly what your soul needs to hear at this time, right? And that's really about training and reprogramming yourself to know that you are exactly where you need to be. All right, I'm exactly where I need to be. Okay, so that's one. And three. Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, cool. Starseed Elemental. Okay, well, this is the bottom of the deck here, guys. So, like, oh my god. So, Starseed Elemental is the bottom of the deck, okay? So, this is, like, I'm gonna just start with this because I love it. Because with these other cards, it's just so perfect. So, Starseed Elemental, so really what I'm getting from this is, like, you're starting to wake up to your innate abilities to connect with people, to connect with your telepathy, to connect to people's emotions, to connect to kind of like our superhuman abilities that aren't actually superhuman. They're just like our abilities, but they've been taken away from us, right? Or we've been convinced that we're nothing special, so we've believed them. And now that's what I'm getting from this card is like that's being activated. All of the star seeds are being activated, which, I mean, like if you're on this path of awakening, then you're probably very aware of the star seeds already. But this is kind of just the confirmation to show you like, yeah, people are waking up and elemental. So when I hear that, I'm also drawn to like the elements, right? Or like a fairy would be an elemental because they're connected to the elements, right? So starseed elemental, right? So that's like connecting to the physical plane, like earth, through the elements, through like water, fire, air, and what's the other one? Earth. I guess you need it all to put it on the earth, right? Yeah, so, and then the ethers, right, as well. So yeah, that's really the message here is like people are waking up and you may also have no idea what I'm talking about. So then this could be you, right? Like waking up to that. But yeah, also tapping into the elements. So the elements ground us to the earth and this star seed grounds us up, right? And I think last week I was talking about grounding up, right? And so keep that in mind. Okay, cool. So then we have alignment, guys. So This is the next card, alignment. And really, like, what I'm seeing for this right now is, like, all the work that you've done to get here. Okay, so really giving yourself the credit for all the work that you've done, for everything that you've been through, all the changes that you've made. Really take this time this week to seriously get rid of the shit you don't want, you know? And I know that's what you've been doing. So then if you've been doing it, then keep reaffirming, purifying, and purifying, because this is exactly what's going to get you what you want when you know what you want. Because then if you know what you want, then you see it and you can get it instead of letting it pass by you and go, oh, I don't really know if that was what I wanted or not. I'm not really sure. Right? And so, like, this card is really just getting us to connect to in alignment with these higher frequencies, right? It doesn't have to look like anything. It doesn't have to sound like anything. It doesn't need to, from an external. This is going to be something that you know within. Nobody can tell you that you're in alignment or not. Nobody can tell you what you like or not, you know? Like, this is your journey. This is your decision making, right? So it's really like getting in alignment with, and then also tied in with that starseed card, right? So getting in alignment with your starseed self and the elementals, right? And then we have this sacral chakra, so the core of creation. So the sacral chakra is being activated, right? And this is the womb space, guys. So this is literally where creation it begins. Like, this is the womb. This is where we grow, you know? And it's funny because what did I just talk about? Bringing creativity into everything that you do. So this is it. It's like activating your creativity, activating your kundalini energy, clearing out and purging your light body, this channel, your physical vessel through mind, body, and spirit, right? And really learning the communication and the core of your essence, right? And so creativity, like, just creativity is really coming through. And like, it's not like the classic way, like I said already, right? Like, it's like getting creative with every situation that you're in, right? So that you're able to overcome and rise above. And then we have soul star chakra merging with the divine. So could it get any better, guys? Look, you do. You will purify and cleanse that, right? So this is like what I was just talking about in this card. This is like the visual of what I was seeing, right? It's kind of hard. That visual with the chakras, right? And all that energy and you in the middle and you connecting to your breath and moving that field so that you're able to connect to this life force, you know? Like, you don't even have to, like I said, it doesn't have to look like anything. So stop putting expectations on yourself. This is all in your mind. So really untie that. Oh, what does it mean to be spiritual to you? What does it mean to, like, you don't have to do yoga and meditate and like do all these different things and have crystals and like have, you know, like a salt lamp or whatever it is, dude. Like, you don't need one of these tapestries and you don't need any of this shit. Like, this is just shit. This is just stuff, right? And so it's really about realizing, oh my God, Kate, I hold this frequency within my own vessel, within my own being. I can activate this right here, this flower of life or seed of life, and this is the unalome, which is the path to enlightenment, you know, like, these are within every fiber of our being. That is literally creation. Like, that is this, you know, like, it's the same thing, because in order for this to manifest, that's the template. This is the template, right? That seed of life, right? So that's the template. Look, here's another template, the chakra system, right? These are all templates to help us and guide us through. So when you learn these templates, and this is, okay, so this is the mental activation you're being asked to go through. Whoa, that was a big one. Big release. This is the activation that you're stepping through right now. Oh yeah, and then home. Perfect. This just popped up too, guys. This home frequency, okay? So what feels like home to you? What is home to you, right? Like, that's really what you're being asked this week, as well as like, what feels good, what resonates with you, what do you know that you want, where do you feel comfortable, where do you feel safe, where do you feel heard, what is it that makes a house a home to you, or like, what is home, right? And so obviously it's our heart center, so home is where the heart is, right? But what does that mean for you, right? Like, can you access that part of you wherever you go? Wow, that was so good. And then surrender, guys. Surrender and trust your innocence. Okay, cool. That was really cool. I'm going to clean those ones up now. That was the Beyond Lumeria, guys, again. So these are highly activated light beings, right? And maybe you were there, you know? Maybe you have a Lumerian past life or something. And so just start connecting and start opening. Usually if you're drawn to a species, it's probably likely that, you know, you do have a connection. Like, I'm not going to say for sure because I really don't know, but there's most likely a connection there, right? If you're gravitating towards it, right? Okay, great. So now I'm going to be using the secret language of light oracle. I just thought that this was perfect to do this week just because of all the light downloads, all the activations, that solar eclipse as well that we experienced last Wednesday. Also last week I said I don't know if it's the solar eclipse is always on a new moon, and I did hear a video today that did say the solar eclipse happened on a new moon. So it doesn't just represent a full moon, it actually happens on a new moon as well. So just wanted to throw that in there. Okay, so the secret language of light, what's coming through here for us this week? Clearing all energies that are not of the highest good for people doing this reading. Authentic truth, guys. Authentic truth is the first one that pops out. So there's throat chakra activation as well. The Vesica Pisces, which this is the birthing portal. This is like when two become one. Which is kind of included into that sacral chakra, right? Well, not kind of. It's definitely included into that sacral chakra, right? So I'm going to just ask for one more card here just to see what else, like bringing these together. Guys, we are birthing our authentic truth. We are birthing our authentic self. Like, we can see, like, so the Vesica Pisces is like a Venn diagram, right? So it's like old self, highest potential self, in between, right? How can we meet in the middle? And how can I start, like, merging the two so that eventually they just become one, right? And so, like, authentic truth, I'll just show you guys that too, right? Like, so this is really us birthing our authentic truth, right? And in order for us to birth our authentic truth, we have to cleanse. We have to understand and get to know ourselves and really know, like, okay, what the heck does all this mean? What does it all mean to me? You know? Because nothing has meaning. Right? The entire universe is built on this template, and it has no meaning until it's given meaning, right? Because everything's made out of it. So then, here now we are in this reality as a human being, and it has meaning. It's called the flower of life or the seed of life. You know, there's different things that we have labeled it as in our language, but that's the meaning that we as humans have given it, right? So, also depends on the depth and level that you understand the universe and the cosmos and beyond, right? As to, like, how deep you can truly understand the symbol and different things, right? So, okay, these want to come through. Transformation and soul love. So soul love is 33, and whenever I see threes, like, it represents ascended masters and that they are with you, right? So you actually have your guides. Your guides are right there for you, right? Like, your ascended masters, call on the archangels, call on them and say, hey, I'm here, I'm ready. They're going to teach you this soul love. That's what I'm hearing, this higher self version of you, and it's accessed through your thoughts and through the mind, and that's your transformation. Your transformation, more confirmation, because we anchor in your authentic truth and we birth it. We birth a new reality. Then we start connecting to our guidance, our higher self, our heart center, and we see transformation. Transformation is also a 19, so 9 and a 1. 9 plus 1 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1, right? So it's actually a 1 or a 10, right? So 19 would represent that ending, beginning energy, right? So it's just really, really cool how it all comes together like that. Amazing. So that was really cool. And then I just wanted to look at the bottom of the deck just because manifestation. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, let's see. 2 more decks. We're going to go the Lightworker Oracle. I am early today. Perfect. We're only at 40 minutes. Okay. So here we go. This one is, like, more human. than the other two. You know, these are more like human lessons, and this deck is definitely an activation, and it really is like Dark Night of the Soul energy, you know, like definitely major arcana of like big life lessons and different things happening, right? And so let's just see what's going to come through. I'm going to call through like what is going to be our biggest block this week, because I feel like these cards would really help us to understand that. Like, what is going to be our biggest block this week, guys? This one wants to come. Are you ready? I know, you're ready. Okay, let me pick up my card. Are you ready? Dark Night of the Soul, guys. Dark Night of the Soul. That's literally what I just pulled out. I said, this is exactly what I want this deck for. Tell me what my block is. This is your block. Okay, good to know, right? Spot on. Spiritual Decree. Now I have to look that up real quick because I think it just means like devotion, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to read you the little blurb. So, Spiritual Decree. You have been wondering what will happen next in your life, not realizing how much power you have to decide that for yourself. What do you wish to have happen next? Are you willing to use your divine birthrights of free will, voice, and empowerment to set the cosmic wheel in motion? If your answer is yes, then it is time to speak your truth to the universe, decree it, and you shall be it. That's what it is. Decree means not demand, but command, right? We don't want to demand, but we can definitely command. Like you walk into a room and you command respect, right? And so that's what this is. Oh, that's so good. So ask, guys. Ask for really like, and look at her mind. More confirmation, because this is it. Dark Night of the Soul through the mind, guys. Do you see this? Like Dark Night of the Soul through the mind, right? So when you start declaring, when you start saying, hey, universe, I'm ready for life. Hey, universe, I'm ready to feel joy. Hey, universe, I'm ready for this. The universe will provide. So really, that's what this is saying to us. I'm going to pull one more from this deck. What you got? Orbs of Light, right? So Orbs of Light just came out as well, right? So let me just look. Oh, and it's the card right before it. It's card 40. I love it. So the spiritual worlds are delivering a message to you. You may have already heard it, though through telepathic reception. You may have already heard it through telepathic reception and mistaken it for your own thought. Yet it was inspired by your higher guidance, those spiritual beings that love you without condition. It is an answer to a question and guidance to increase your happiness. Okay, guys, what did I just say about the last cards I pulled from the Secret Language of Light? This is literally what I just said. I said your guides are there, your angels are there, like all these beings are there. The whole universe is really there waiting, and all you have to do is declare it, right? Spiritual decree, knowing your sovereignty, exercising your free will, being empowered, knowing your worth, right? And these are all the lessons that you're learning through this Dark Night of the Soul, right? So this week it's the Dark Night of the Soul through the mind, and you are very supported. You see this, guys, like this is showing me right there. This orb is right in your hands. Like, it is right there, and you have it. You have full power and full potential. So it's literally like your time to realize it. It's just your time to realize it, right? Unplug from mass consciousness. What a perfect way to close out that one, right? Because this is our shadow, guys. Remember, right? I asked for our shadow to come up. So this is like unplug from the mass consciousness, right? The collective consciousness. And then that's literally your Dark Night of the Soul. Spiritual decree, declare it, and then know that you are supported through it, right? So, wow, that was juicy! And then third ray of creative intelligence, just because it confirms even more, you know, what I was saying earlier about getting creative and really stepping into that. Okay, last deck. These ones are pretty simple. I do have the Divine Feminine Oracle too, but we'll see if I want to play with it. Okay, so this one's called the Soul's Journey lesson cards, okay? So, I'm just asking, because these are really, really basic. Okay, perfect. See, I really like these. So, I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation, guys. So, empathy. So, you're really learning how to expand your heart this week and your thoughts, right? Your mind and your heart. through non-judgment, right? So having compassion and empathy. Friendship, I want to go. There's another one, friendship, right? So this is going to be really important, as I already said. So it says, I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason, right? So this is friendship. This is, like I was saying earlier, connect to your friends, connect to people that you trust, really start building this dialogue, because that's why you feel disconnected. That's why you feel out of alignment, right? And so, like, really, like, feeling your friends and saying, hey, like, I noticed you were kind of being off the other day, like, and just really start having those really deep and compassionate conversations. And like I said, some people aren't ready, but the ones that are will. Look, fear. Just as I was saying that, fear. And it says, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Okay, guys, and then guess what? Friggin' popped out. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Okay, more confirmation. This is telling me this week that you guys are gonna get overrun by fear, worry, doubt, your imagination. You're using it for the negative. This is where you call on your friends. This is where you say, whoa, I've been having these really fucked up thoughts and I don't know what to do with them. And they're going to connect to their empathy because they're going to be part of this collective too. So you guys are going to be working in tandem with each other to say, hey, I watched this video. Aurora seems pretty cool. Like, check out her stuff. Now look at all these cards. And you guys are going to be helping friendship and empathy, right? Because you have to nurture those together, right? You can't not give a fuck about your friends. You have to care. You have to put work into the relationship. You have to know, like, you can know that you love them. When I say put work in, it doesn't mean like you have to constantly be working, but what it means is that, like, there are moments, there are hiccups, there are times when you're not going to resonate, and that's the time where the work's put in, and that's where we can really connect to our truths and experience that, right? So don't use your imagination for fear and for worry. Reconnect back into love. Like, how can we do that, though? Let me ask this deck real quick. Like, how can we disconnect from fear? Are you kidding me? You connect to love, right? Okay. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things, right? So how do you disconnect from fear? You connect to love, okay? So if you didn't like that answer, which my ego didn't, my Aurora, my human, so give me one more, because I just want to have, like, maybe like a more practical, like, what is that fear? What is that fear? Okay, let's see. What is it? Okay, so I pulled courage. So I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence, right, guys? So that's all. Like, nothing specific about that fear, but really it's just like what I'm getting is like having courage and knowing like that you have the capacity to deal with everything, right? It's like they already said, like, use your imagination for love, right? I say they, I just mean like source, spirit, whoever's talking to me through these cards, right? So it's like, this is the whole thing, guys, and this is what's gonna kind of catalyze it all, right? So we have fear, you have your imagination, which is neutral, which is in the center. Then we have fear, and then we have love, and then we have courage here for you to choose love. So it's really cool, really beautiful. Last one to close it off. Blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. No more blaming other people for why you feel what you feel, because nobody can make you feel anything. And we have to learn to take responsibility and get to know ourselves and be that support for us, right? So, wrapping it all up, coming back to that divine masculine and feminine energy, the reset, where we're going to have access to these higher frequencies of the feminine and masculine template. So as you're navigating through all of this, understand that you're being upgraded to these higher frequency templates and these pure templates, these organic templates, right? And that's what that alignment card was showing us earlier too. That's what we're aligning to, these higher frequencies, okay? So release blame. Connect to your heart. Don't use your imagination for anything that is not serving you. When you're in that energy, do things to shift it. Connect to love. Move your energy. Dance, sing, scream. Do what you got to do. Paint, hum, whatever it is. Just get creative. Move that energy and find a place where you can harmonize that head and heart so that, you're not anxious and you're not depressed and you're not worried and you're not fearful, right? It's like that's really the key to it. The key to kind of grounding in your fears is neutrality, right? We have to be neutral. It's our heart center. This is where if you're not neutral, that means you're triggered, right? So that means that there's something there to deal with, and that's okay because we're all human and we're all dealing with it, right? So, all right, guys, that's all for today. I hope that you have an amazing week. Okay, look on the bottom, guys. Doubt and then humor. My last card, I promise. Oh my God, worry though, like seriously. So once you bust through all this bullshit, right? Worry, humor, doubt, meaning you have to incorporate your humor into this experience, you get success and growth. Okay, this is it. I promise. Okay. Okay, that's it. I promise. Okay, that's all. I love you guys. You guys have a great week. I will see you next week. Comment, like, subscribe, do all that goodness. I really would like for people to get more interactive so that I can start kind of seeing this community start to come to fruition. So again, also go down, click the link below, join my Discover the True You group, and yeah, I'm really excited. So sending you all so much love. Thanks for popping in, and I'll see you next week. Bye.